everyone, welcome to the Voice Cast, where we take your favorite animated characters and we find out who played them the best, the worst, and the weirdest, and allow you to vote on them yourselves. I'm your host, Justin, and with me is Will.
Nice to see you again, everyone. Today we'll be doing another recently relevant character. We'll be covering Deadpool.
Deadpool!
Deadpool! That really peaked the mic.
Deadpool, the merc with the mouth, and probably the most prolific cosplay costume to ever hit Comic-Con.
As a person who has went to the New York City Comic-Con, I have seen the entire army of Deadpool.
That sounds terrifying.
It really is.
Just like...
Please help.
Just like an army of them just like singing like the Ice Charades theme song or something on a stage.
You mean like that one episode of Foster Home for Imaginary Friends with all the blues?
That is exactly what I'm referencing.
Heh.
So, Will, who is Deadpool?
Deadpool, also known as Wade Wilson, a parody character of the DC character Slade Wilson, who is deemed really overpowered because of his regeneration ability and his ability to live without his head for longer than a human should, and being able to place it back. Marvel kind of took shots at DC for making such a blatantly overpowered character, because how the hell do you defeat something that doesn't die?
So says the people who made Superman.
Bizarro.
Like, that's the most ironic thing I've ever heard, probably.
See, Superman has an obvious weakness of kryptonite. You put him against kryptonite and he becomes borderline useless. You rip Deadpool in two, he just puts himself back together. You rip Deathstroke in half, puts himself back together with an accelerated healing factor. But then Marvel decided to kick it into overdrive by giving him stuff like fourth wall breaking meta knowledge and the kill everything sword.
That's right.
To where he killed everyone in the Marvel universe. Single-handedly. Because he's that good.
So, Deadpool in the realm of voice acting and general animation, he's definitely picked up a lot more over the years. The reason why we're talking about this one, obviously, is because of the new movie that came out, which I've seen, Will has not because he sucks, and it's fucking amazing.
It's called a budget, sir.
What's that?
Something we don't have because we're using Audacity.
You piece of shit. I have Adobe. I have the whole Adobe cloud, but I can't use it on my main computer because I have it on my laptop. My dad uses it, and it's just this weird rigmarole thing. Fuck. Anyway. Anyway, the first time that Deadpool's been seen in an animated space was in Marvel Ultimate Alliance in 2006.
An actually pretty good game.
Oh yeah, I played that one and the sequel with my friends back in middle school. That was a fun time. I haven't played it in a while, so I don't really know Deadpool's relevance to the story or anything, but I'm sure that it's like, hey, I'm here and I'm doing my thing, which, coming out of that mouth, was the voice of John Kassir.
The day my father Odin banished me from Asgard, I was bitten by a vampire and had radioactive waste dumped into my eyes. To make matters worse, my mutant ability to control weather activated just as I was hit by a blast of gamma radiation. Nah, actually I got this way by volunteering for the Weapon X program.
John Kassir was... Really? Just
I can understand the thought process behind it because John Kassir has a really weird voice. Like, you know he played the Crypt Keeper, right?
He has kind of this... the way he's trying to describe Deadpool is... He's trying to take Deadpool to the maximum amount of... I'm an obvious parody character, so I'm going to parody everything by making meta jokes about the Marvel lore. And then just have this obnoxious voice about it.
Well, saying that about a Deadpool character is just basic. If you don't like that, then you might as well say that, like, hey, let's make Deadpool normal and not break the fourth wall.
I mean, when it comes to breaking the fourth wall, I honestly think it's a cheap gimmick when it comes to animation and stuff, and kind of Well, when it's put into a more movie setting, it's kind of okay. I'm just not a big fan of fourth wall breaking. But Kassir, he's okay. He's the first voice, so he really didn't have anything to go off of, and he had the idea of Deadpool. It's just his voice is weird, at least to me.
I think for what
It's not grating. It's just a little unsettling to me.
I mean, I think for what it is, it's fine. I understand the logic of casting this guy. It's like, oh, he voiced a lot of weirdos. He voices the Crypt Keeper and Buster Bunny, but badly because he can't sound like Charlie Adler. But the weird thing about this one is, I don't know how far you listened into his voice. I listened to his dialogue at the level. If you really start to hear him after a while, he sounds like a surfer.
He really does. No, I get that from the start too.
Yeah.
Like, what did Asgard?
He
He doesn't have the obnoxious Californian tinge, but just like that drawn out talking.
Yeah. John Kassir doesn't offer much, but for the start, it's not bad, and he'd continue to do it for the rest of Marvel Ultimate Alliance. We've already seen on this show that the first voice of a character can be a lot worse.
Yes. Then we move on to the movie game, X-Men Origins Wolverine, the video game based on the movie, which had Ryan Reynolds in the live-action movie, and in the video game had Steve Blum.
He says that rock is special. He says it came from the sky.
For the 1.5 lines Deadpool does get, I mean, Steve Blum plays him fine. I mean, he sounds like Steve Blum, but looking at Deadpool's character and the way his body looks, the voice isn't dissimilar. I mean, if of the list, I think he would be the better Deadpool if he had more lines to show off. Just like in the movie, Ryan Reynolds, who played Deadpool, only got so few lines before he got his mouth sewn. But when he did say his lines, he sounded okay. He could have done a lot more and it would have been a more substantial opinion, but Steve Blum is just fine, in my opinion. What do you think?
I feel the exact same way about this as I feel about Ryan Reynolds in that movie, where it's the perfect parallel. It's amazing. Where Ryan Reynolds is in this movie for not very long. He does fine. He leaves a bit of an impression, but that's about it. And then they sew his mouth shut and I'm sad. I feel exactly the same way about Steve Blum in this role.
And it's not like Steve Blum is known for his serious roles. He could play a comedic role like no one's business.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He's a funny man.
Yeah, and I've seen him voice other weirdly eccentric hero types. I actually kind of like his portrayal of Rocket Raccoon. I wouldn't mind just, going up to him and just being like, hey, if you voiced Deadpool, what would it sound like? I would at least be satisfied with that.
I'll have to look for more events to go see him then.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Fun side story. I actually met Steve Blum in person once. He was doing a meet and greet at a bar after one of the days of Comic-Con. Really good person. Really nice, charismatic person. And when it came to getting autographs and stuff, the dude was a sport. I mean, it was like $10 for an autograph and a bunch of pictures signed. And when I did get to talk to him, because I waited till the end of the line to try and talk to him a little bit more, even though that many people weren't getting online in the first place, in the amount of time I spent talking to him, he's really nice. He's a very nice guy.
I hope one day I can meet him too. I need to go to more conventions.
Well, you have the money to do it.
Fair enough. I mean, if anything, to network our podcast around a little bit.
Yeah. Next up, we have Hulk Versus. And the first iteration of the repeating voice of Deadpool, or the person who has the most counts as Deadpool, Nolan North.
Logan, we missed you. That Weapon X just hasn't been the same without you. Nobody calls me Bub anymore. And Omega Red's a bedwetter.
One day I will tear out your tongue and son.
He's very ashamed.
Yeah, what you were saying about, I would like to see Steve Blum do Deadpool, but honestly, it is pretty obvious that the industry had decided who should be the animated Deadpool. And
Nolan
that is
North.
Nolan North.
I
I
mean,
like him.
I like Nolan North. I like his voice. I like the way he voices Deadpool in the Deadpool game. In the first iteration of Hulk versus,
Really?
okay,
I think it does fine.
it's fine. It's better than fine. Well, it's better than fine. Of the list, it's probably the best Deadpool, or one of the better Deadpools. One of the better Deadpools.
Actually, I saw Ryan Reynolds playing the Deadpool video game with Jacksepticeye. Did you watch that video?
I did not. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds knows Nolan North by name, and he likes Nolan North's Deadpool. Nolan North has the blessing of the real Deadpool. You can't do much better than that.
Yeah, you really can't.
I haven't played it myself, but just watching the game, it is so funny. So many quotable lines, like...
That one's for all the clown jokes. That one's for not saying hi, for not calling just to say hi.
I love the voice in his head. It's so great. Not used very much outside of comic books either, but just the whole argument between him and the voice in his head about how much dynamite to use is the funniest shit. I hate the metric system. How much an American? Dude, fuck Matt. Just use all of it.
Then we move on to Marvel's Toddler Show. But this time, it's not the show, it's the online game, Marvel Superhero Squad Online.
I didn't even know that this had an online feature to it until doing research for this. And I'm just like, was it that popular?
Amongst kids, I believe, yeah. Recurring contendant, Tom Kenny.
Oh boy, I get to play with others. That always goes really well.
Man, Captain America has really changed. Wait, what? Who were you again?
Hey, Angel, do those wings really work? Can I borrow them?
Who we haven't seen since Spyro.
Yeah, that's right. It's been a whole 3 weeks. I've missed you dearly, Mr. Kenny.
And all I could say about the Marvel Superhero Squad Online, Tom Kenny Deadpool it's Tom Kenny.
Weirdly sarcastic, too. Deadpool's not really sarcastic, is he?
That's not his humor.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't, like, Tom Kenny has a lot of these roles. Just why not, I guess. It helps me buy dessert for my wife when we go out to dinner. Just a little something extra. Why not?
I mean, he's a good voice actor. It's just, it doesn't sound like he really tried with Marvel Superhero Squad Online. Then again, guessing the context of the show, I'm not sure anyone took it seriously.
Was Deadpool in the Squad show?
I don't think so, or they would have put it on the behind the voice actors.
I guess.
Now, the ultimate example of how not to play Deadpool, Will Friedle from the Ultimate Spider-Man show.
Dang, Skippy! Where are my manners? Introductions! Call me Deadpool. It rhymes with no school. Too cool, ain't no fool, and I'm the best that there is at what I do. Cool. Moving on! I'm on a mission to find the secret HQ of Taskmaster, the big boss for these cheese clowns. And nothing better get in my way.
I like this guy. I do. Ron Stoppable, Terry McGinnis, Eric on Boy Meets World, a sitcom that I watched a lot of as a kid. I'm happy that he's found an outlet with voice acting. But, yeah.
He's not a good Deadpool.
It's one of those things where it's like, I don't like it because this would probably be a lot of kids' first foray into Deadpool, and just him being really annoying. Just, he shouts all the time. He does not shut the fuck up.
Like when it comes, like for example, he does a really good Star-Lord in the Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon.
Yeah, I like that Star-Lord.
He can do a superhero role. It's just,
I chalk this one up to direction.
Yeah.
You know the thing that really bothers me about this role, though?
What bothers you?
I don't know how old Deadpool is supposed to be. You have to understand why that's such a problem, because the whole thing is that Spider-Man, Nova, Power Man, and Girl are all teenagers. That's kind of the thing. They're, like, training themselves up. That's kind of how they're, like, separated from the other Marvel animated show that were going on at the same time, because Power Man and Iron Fist are grown up in the other ones.
But
so
normally Deadpool's supposed to be a man in his, like, 30s or 20s or something. Why is he hanging out with a bunch of teenagers and acting like them, too? No, I'm thinking about it.
Well, that's the thing. Is that the point? Is he supposed to be a teenager like the rest of them, or is he
a teenage Deadpool? Is he Teen Pool?
Or is he grown up? I would probably give this more credit if it was a teenage Deadpool.
The voice still irked me, though.
Yeah, just a little bit. I don't know.
Now for the last iteration, the hero to save us from the previous performance, Matthew Yang King, who voiced Deadpool in Marvel Heroes.
Where'd your spleen go? Hold on, gotta do some math now. Kaboom! Writers? Well, hope nobody needed that. I'd sing some Black Sabbath, but the bean counter said we spent all our money on writing.
Nailed it!
He really did. The writing was great. The delivery was also pretty good. It gets a little bit obnoxious at times, just a bit, but overall...
a flavorful obnoxious.
Yeah. You know one missed opportunity that bugs me?
Well...
Deadpool didn't break the fourth wall that he's being voiced by an Asian. I mean, God, in the Deadpool game, he references Nolan North a bunch of times, but here they can't just be...
They can't seem to stay consistent with my voice, can they?
Something like that. Or, like, hey, I'm offended by that because I'm Asian. And then, like, text at the bottom of the screen that's, like, as far as you know.
Yeah, Matthew Yang King, he also voices, in that very same game, he's also the Human Torch, which he does a good job as Human Torch.
Yeah.
Overall, he's just an overall good voice actor and a good fit for the role.
Yeah, I mean, he's not doing it. I mean, like, it's been, like, 5 years. Like I said, Nolan North has kind of been the torch of Deadpool for a while now, aside from a couple of other things. But, so I'm not really sad about it, but also, hey, another good performance. It's not Nolan North. I'm cool with this.
Now we'll come down to our judging. Rando, you have the stage.
Alright. Best is Nolan, worst is Friedle, and weirdest is Kassir.
I am under the same principle. Best North, worst Friedle, but I'm going to say weirdest, Steve Blum.
Okay.
I say Steve Blum is the weirdest because he had the least opportunity to prove he can amongst them. He had a lot of potential. They just didn't use him. Just like in the movie X-Men Origins Wolverine, they didn't use Ryan Reynolds. So Steve Blum could have been the best Deadpool. Who knows? He could have been the best.
Again, in another universe.
But also, I wanted to tie first place between Nolan North and Matthew, but Nolan North has paved more of the land, so you gotta give him his due. But Matthew is a very close contender for first.
Kind of a dark horse, actually.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Kind of a yellow horse, actually.
Ah! Please no. That's bad. You're terrible.
I know. It's great.
Well,
you really pissed me off.
Why?
I wanted to talk about Deadpool 2.
Hey.
I saw it last night. I loved it. It was fantastic. I have never seen a movie go from good to great thanks to the ending before in my entire life. I would have loved to discuss it because this episode is painfully short, but you had to fuck over this whole thing for everybody.
I mean, we could always visit it again next time for a look back at the Ryan Reynolds experience. I would say that could be our first special, the Ryan Reynolds experience of Deadpool.
The Ryan Reynolds experience. This has been Justin.
And Will.
See y'all next time.
See you in the next one.
Come in, my friend. Welcome to the party. But only if you're one of Robotnik's empire running.